gonna show you guys how to make that bass. Alright, what's going on, you guys? Today I'm gonna be showing you how to make trap soul basses from scratch. A lot of you guys have asked in my videos on the basses that I'm using for these trap soul beats. So today I want to show you. First off, shout out to the new ear pads that I got for my ATH M50Xs, bro. That's too much to say. I had the old ear pads, probably like 5 years old, and they were coming apart, and the little pieces would be all over me when I took these headphones off. For a while, I couldn't figure out what would randomly be on my head, and then I started seeing that they were coming apart like crazy. So I replaced those, and while I replaced those, I said, why not get me a new pair of headphones? So I had to buy them. Look at that. Come on. We got the DT770 Pros. I've been wanting these headphones. They're actually going to be like one of the first buys. It was either going to be these or the ones that I've had for 5 years. And I chose those, and they've been great. But I've always wanted these. So when I had to replace the ear pads for those, I said, why not get a new pair of headphones? I've only tried them one time today since I've opened them, and they sound amazing. Today I got to use the old ones since I'm not used to the new ones yet. I don't want to be making a video and not really hearing it on something I'm used to, right? So today, like I said, trap soul type basses. Let's get into it. All right, so we got a couple different VSTs open. We got Sublabs, Omnisphere, and then Harmless. And I'm gonna make 3 different sine basses in these, and then we'll go ahead and process them after. So let's go ahead and let's just start out with Sublab, right? Pretty simple to use. So let's cut off, we'll just turn these off first, right? The harmonics and the sample, and we're just gonna come over here to the mixer and turn up this first synth. And this first synth is where we're gonna create the actual bass line. So over here in pitch, I'm gonna actually turn this amount down to 0 for now. Come back over to volume, bring my attack up so it kind of fades in more. That nice fade in. Let's bring down the sustain a little bit. Kind of create like a curve to it. So right now we're just shaping it, right? And then let's come over here and let's add in some of the lower, higher harmonics. That's sounding nice so far for the shape of it. I'm going to add in a little bit of distortion. So I'm going to blend it right here. And then use the high cut. And on the amount knob on pitch, I'm going to bring up a little bit because I don't want it to sound like this. I don't want it to have a punch to it. Just want a little bit. So that sounds good, right? Let's go over to Edison and record that real quick. Make sure we have a long note to work with. And then go over here and cut this out like this. And I'm going to actually do a bigger fade in. Probably something like that. And now we call this, we'll call this Sub Lab 1. Now let's go into Omnisphere and create one. And then after, I'm going to process it all so you guys can hear, you know, how to get like that trap soul feel from it. So we're going to change this to a sine wave. I'm actually going to transpose it down. Right, so we're hearing that already. Let's go over here, oscillator B. Let's get another sine wave. And let's actually have it 1 octave higher than that. So let's go here. Bring this amp down a little bit. And on the first one, bring in the attack. Bring out the release. Now I'm pretty sure there's a way to copy these over, but I'm not familiar with it. So I'm gonna just have to do this. So let's see, 309. I want these to be the same. Now let's go into Wave Shaper. We don't want to go too crazy with this. Just add in a little bit of it. Give it a little bit more of a higher register. And then we can start to mess with unison or different types of things. Like you'll hear what happens when we turn this on. But I want to do that all in post so I can make sure the phase is cool, and I'll explain all that later. Cool. So we're getting some different ones to work with, right? So these are sounding good. And then the last one we're going to do is in harmless. So we're going to use a saw wave. I'm going to bring up the sub of it. I'm going to play it a bit lower. Then I'm going to put a little bit of phaser on it. Sounding really bad right now, but trust me. But to get rid of that high end real quick, let's just link it over here to a mixer track. And let's put an EQ on it, and let's just take some of this out. Right, since that's how it's going to end up sounding after. Bring up harmonizer a tiny bit, widen it out. And let's go over to chorus. That widens it. We're going to put a little bit of reverb, which I know is weird, but you'll see after. Just a tiny bit. And then let's go over to the attack. Release out. So you can kind of start to hear what I'm going for, right? We're actually going to use a linear phase EQ so that we're not changing the phase at all. So let's get it, we'll use stereo for right now since we add a little bit of stereo side information. And let's do a low pass and start to bring it down. And then I'm going to do a little bit of a boost over here in the low frequencies. And then back it off a little bit. And now let's record that one so we have another one. So remember, we added a chorus to it, right? And it's giving us that pulsating effect, which is what I want and what I'm going to add to the other ones. But I wanted to show you, how to just create them inside the VST. And we might run all these through the same chain, but let's just go ahead and process this first one. The first thing I'm going to put on it is a little bit of saturation. Just a little bit. Then the other thing we actually need to open up on the master bus is something to make sure we're staying in phase, right? We're not going crazy. So here you could see we're a mono pretty much, all the way mono. I want to make sure when we start adding things like the chorus effect or any type of phasers or anything that we don't go crazy out of phase, because we're not going to want to have a sample that's not in phase and already sounds bad from the start. So we'll keep that open. Come back over here. Blingus, I never know how to say this. But let me show you what happens if it's out of phase. Let's just select a preset. Getting a lot of phase signaling issues, right? So pretty much what that means is that it's detecting that somewhere along the line, things are going out of phase, right? So it's going to kind of sound weird, especially if we sum it to mono. And it's just kind of giving us a reference point. So to fix that, we just need to pay attention to what we're doing, honestly, and use our ears. So if I want that effect from this, let's go a little bit higher. I'm going to just pay attention and make sure we don't go out of phase. See if we could drop a chorus on here too. I like to just experiment, see what we could do, get like a weird sound. I like these to have like a lot of wobble to them, and then we'll keep going. Nice, just getting that movement that I wanted. Now let's add a reverb to it. I know it's weird, we're going to cut all the low end out of it, so let's see how this sounds. And it's going to be tucked way in the back. Cool. And then one last EQ. All right, so let's go ahead and record that one last time. And then we could probably take this one too and route it to the same track. Let's see how it sounds through here. Oh, I really like how that one sounds. Let's add in a little bit here. A little bit of body. That's sounding good. Let's record that. So that's the Omnisphere one. Nice. That sounds good. And then the last one that we created in Harmless. Let's go ahead and check out that one. So this is done too. And then this is the last one we have. And we could run it through the same chain, but we might do it a little bit different. One doesn't sound too bad. Let's check on the phase. Yeah, we already ran it through, so let's go ahead and put it on its own channel. Here I'm gonna copy over the linear EQ. I don't want a crazy, you know what, let's try it. Let's try a crazy distortion on it. Let's back it off. And then maybe run the EQ after. And distort a lot into it. I really like how that's sounding a lot. Let's go ahead and cut itself. That one's nice. And I want to add a reverb to it just to see what would happen. Like a crazy reverb. I don't know. It's weird. It sounds like some Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. Let's see. That one could be pretty cool. Let's reset this. Let's bring this down. And let's go ahead and render this one as well. I really like how that one sounds too. So now let's listen to these. So here's the first one. Kind of more of a basic sub bass. That one kind of has a stereo width I like for these basses. And then 3. That one's probably my favorite. And then let's drop in a MIDI. So let me go over to the import MIDI kit and find a MIDI. This one sounds cool. Let's take out these notes. We'll be playing G. We could bring this down actually. Let's get it down by like 4. That sounds nice. Let's go down like 2 more. 2 or 3 more. Oh. That's crazy. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, leave a thumbs up. You can follow me on all social medias at Lifestyle Did It. Make sure to hit my site, lifestyledidit.com, for everything else. Other than that, subscribe to your boy, push notifications.